gosh, look at the crowd.
Come this way.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Welcome to Lmd Newsweek. I'm Anushan Selvarajah, standing in for Ashwini Vedakan. We begin with a look at the latest COVID-19 situation in the island. As of this week, the number of COVID-19 infected patients in Sri Lanka has surpassed 84,000, with the number of recoveries crossing the 80,000 mark and the number of fatalities at 489. According to the University Grants Commission, a decision has been reached to provide the COVID-19 vaccine to all university students from next month. The vaccination drive will be conducted in several phases, where 135,000 university students will receive the jab. Employees in the tourism sector and Board of Investment Enterprises are likely to be vaccinated for COVID-19 by the end of March. The decision comes in response to a request made by the Minister of Tourism. The President has agreed to provide the vaccine to both sectors, which have been deemed critically important to the economy. According to health officials, the country will receive its first batch of vaccinations under the COVAX facility within the next few days. The amount is yet to be determined, as there are varying reports from those in charge, but it appears to be somewhere in the range of 260,000 to 380,000 doses. The State Minister for Health has revealed that Russia's Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine has been approved for use in Sri Lanka. Permission has been granted by the expert committee of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority. And now for a public service announcement. If you're looking for the right center to receive your jab of the COVID-19 vaccine, simply call your area public health inspector and he will tell you where to register. And now for a roundup of local news. The National Transport Medical Institute has decided to implement a new program to identify drivers using narcotic substances. The necessary provisions are being prepared based on the advice of the Attorney General with regard to the special equipment that can be used to identify motorists who drive under the influence and the procedure that should be followed against such individuals. According to the Director General of Health Services, the guidelines for the burial of COVID-19 victims has been published. The government has chosen the island of Viranathivu amidst protests by area residents. The Sri Lanka Air Force promoted 467 officers and 7,290 other ranks in view of the 70th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Air Force, which was celebrated under the guidance and supervision of the present Commander of the Air Force. The Cabinet nod has been received to appoint an interinstitutional coordination committee comprising industry players engaged in raw rubber manufacturing and rubber-based products as a joint endeavor to develop the sector while solving prevailing issues. Moving on to business news. Sri Lankan conglomerate John Keel's Holdings got a major boost through the government's move on the proposed West Container Terminal in the Colombo port following a cabinet decision. Company and industry analysts say JKH is likely to have a significant stake in the joint venture with Indian giant Adani Group within the 85% stake offered for a Sri Lanka foreign private sector consortium, while the remaining 15% stake will be held by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. The Committee on Public Finance has informed officials of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka to come up with an innovative strategic plan that works in the interest of the public. The chairman of the committee added that the Monetary Board should fulfill its responsibilities properly, and maintaining financial discipline is a fundamental factor for any country. The first bilateral discussion to develop local pharma manufacturing took place between Sri Lankan and Pakistani pharmaceutical manufacturers on the 24th of February. During the discussion, the head of the Pakistani pharmaceutical delegation promised to share best practices and technical know-how with the SLPMA. He also invited the State Minister and the SLPMA to visit Pakistan to set up a roadshow on the opportunities for pharmaceutical manufacturing in Sri Lanka and enter MOUs with prospective Pakistani companies, which will be facilitated by the PPMA. In other news, vehicle registrations continue to languish in January, similar to the last few months, as the government's clampdown on vehicle imports aimed at supporting the currency and the country's foreign reserves position persists. The government is likely to maintain the import ban throughout this year or until the acute foreign exchange shortage the country is facing is rectified. This has led to vehicle importers claiming that around 100,000 direct jobs would be at stake if the ban on vehicle imports continues. Let us now take a look at global news. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the world is over 116 million, with the recovered number surpassing 91 million, while the number of fatalities is over 2.5 million. British Chancellor Rishi Sunak has warned that a spending spree to support workers and spur investment will be followed by tax rises as the economy recovers. The UK's rapid COVID-19 vaccine rollout is expected to help the economy rebound to its pre-pandemic size 6 months sooner than previously expected. Meanwhile, official forecasts expect growth to hit 4% this year, while an extension of the furlough scheme will limit job losses. The Nasdaq ended sharply on Wednesday after investors sold high-flying technology shares and pivoted to sectors viewed as more likely to benefit from an economic recovery on the back of fiscal stimulus and the vaccination programs. While the vaccine distribution is expected to help the economy, data show that US private employers hired fewer workers than expected in February, suggesting the labor market was struggling to regain speed. However, another report showed US services industry activity unexpectedly slowed in February amid winter storms, while a measure of prices paid by companies for inputs surged to the highest level in nearly 12 and a half years. We wrap up this edition of Newsweek with a look at the world of sport. Iranian female Olympic medal winner Kimia Alizadeh has been granted refugee status in Germany and aims to compete in the Olympic refugee team under a white flag in Tokyo this summer. The 22-year-old is training with her husband and can compete for a ticket to the Olympics at the European qualifying tournament in Sofia in May. In football, Barcelona overturned a 2-goal first-leg deficit as they beat 10-man Sevilla after extra time in a Copa del Rey semi-final full of drama and incidents. In cricket, Sri Lanka faced West Indies in the first T20 international of the series played in Antigua. The game had highs and lows for both teams, with the West Indies coming out ahead thanks to a battering provided by Kieran Pollard, who became only the third player to smash 6 sixers in 1 over despite Akila Dhananjay's hat-trick. For the tourists, the only saving grace was the discovery of debutant Pathum Nishankar, who top-scored with 39. That's all the news we have for you this week. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching and stay safe.